Hello G's, and welcome back to G Free with Friends and Family. Today we're going to make one of those fancy foods that's really simple. So come with me to the kitchen and find out what it is. So today we're going to be making a small batch of French onion soup my way. I had one large onion in my fridge, so I wanted to do something with it, and I've had a taste for French onion soup lately, so I figured I'd give it a shot. So first you add the onions, and I have this on a low heat because I don't want anything to burn. And whenever I have onions, I just think that garlic automatically goes with it. So I'm adding 3 cloves of garlic to this mix. And break these onions up a little bit so they'll cook faster. And we're going to brown these up nicely. And we're not going to cook them until they get too soft because we're going to add water to this and stew the onions down. Now, of course, when we're in the kitchen, we're doing things up my way. And I'm not quite sure if cumin goes in French onion soup. We're going to put some in today because that's what I have a taste for. I think it will go nice with the onions. A little seasoned salt. And I'm adding the seasoning now because I think that will help the onions brown up a little faster. I'll put in some fresh ground black pepper. And of course, you're going to season it to taste and put whatever you want in it. Now, I don't eat beef. That's usually what people put in French onion soup, beef broth. And I don't have any vegetable broth. So we're just going to hope that the water and the seasoning work out well. And this is pretty well seasoned. So I think it's going to be okay. Going for a little more cumin. This is only because we are going to be adding water to this. A little more seasoned salt. And just a little more ground black pepper. Let those onions brown a little more, and I think we're going to be ready for the water. Now this is a little bit lighter than usual because we're not using the beef broth, but the flavor is going to be just as good. Yeah, it's almost there. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of water. into the mix and just let it stew down. It'll start to simmer after a while. Looks good. Just going to take one of these onions just to taste. That's good. That's going to be good. In the meantime, I'm going to make a biscuit because you know you have to have that piece of bread underneath the cheese in the French onion soup. So I'm going to make a biscuit to go in the soup, and we'll come back once the onions are all stewed down. Okay, G, so the onions are cooked down. I'm going to put them in this dish. Now I'm going to put the biscuit inside and the cheese on top, and we're going to put it in the oven. So the biscuit right on top like this. And now we're going to put the cheese on top. Oh. I'm going to set this in the oven and let it get nice and melted. And I'll see you back in the studio. Hey G, so we're back from the kitchen and the soup is nicely browned on top. I want to show you, but I don't want to tip it over, so there. It's looking pretty good and it's smelling pretty good. And let's see how it's tasting. It's good to see that the biscuit didn't soak up all the liquid. This is good. This is really good. You know, if you want to add the beef broth, by all means, go ahead. But make yourself some French onion soup. This is really good. Oh, it's hot too. I don't know why I'm always so impatient, but I am. I can't help it. And so cheesy. Nice. I think I could have put a little less cheese. But it's good. You know, I almost got mustard to put on top. But I had mozzarella in the house. So I just used that. Because it was mozzarella from the jelly. And that's pretty good. It wasn't the kind that you get in the supermarket. So but it's chewy. This is some tasty soup. Tasty, tasty. putting the garlic in with the onions, that was the move. Very good on my part, if I do say so myself. Mm. For me, there's just something about onions and garlic, you know? Mm. Let it rest on top to cool for a bit. Mm. You know, people usually don't make French onion soup at home. They figure it's something that you order when you go out to a restaurant. And because it's French, you know, they figure it's difficult. I don't know why. Something about the French. Just kidding. Hmm. But it's really very easy. You know, you just saute the onions and you stew them down. Put it in a bowl. Throw some stuff on top. You know, it's just that easy. Mm. I think because it looks complicated, it has the bread and the cheese on top. It just looks fancy, but it's not fancy at all. It's a really simple food. I mean, it's onions, you know, cheap onions. And that's another thing. It's quite inexpensive to make. If I had a good gluten-free bakery in my neighborhood, I probably would have bought a nice loaf of bread, you know, like a French loaf or Italian loaf, but you know, a nice hearty loaf of bread. But I don't have that here, so. And I didn't want to put a regular piece of gluten-free bread because I could have gone right up the street and gotten that. So I just made a biscuit. I'm like, if I'm going to have that, then I'll just have a biscuit. But, you know, good French onion soup deserves a good piece of bread. Not like the sliced bread that you get. You know, I think I'd like to make this again and maybe put some mushrooms in there too. So if I make it again, I'm going to have good bread. And I'm going to throw some mushrooms in there too because that sounds like it would be really good. Those onions are just so good. This is so hearty. I know this looks like a little bit, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to finish this because I'm already getting full. And it's so funny because before I started making this, I felt like I was starving. Maybe just the smell of it, like, fills me up. I don't know. I'm also eating kind of fast because I'm supposed to help my son do something. I don't want to make him wait too long. And I really am full. I don't want to stuff myself. Oh well, just put that whole chip back. Mm. I'll take this. Scoop those onions up too. Yeah, I'm not gonna overstuff myself though. This was good. This was delicious. Definitely gonna do this again. And look, I have cheese hanging on my lip. The yeah. Excuse me. I was just gonna say, and that's probably what made me burp, was the fresh ground black pepper. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. That's a nice touch because I find that freshly ground pepper is a little bit spicier than the pepper in the box. So, it has that little kick to it, and I like that. Mm. I'm going to save that for a late night snack. Ooh. I don't make too much noise. It's falling. That was very satisfying. I'm glad it's in those like I have these little Pyrex type glass containers. They're really for food prepping. But I cooked it in that because it goes from the oven to the refrigerator back to the oven. So I can actually cover that up, put it in the fridge, and when I get hungry again, just take it out and pop it in the oven. So that was pretty good. Okay, I'm going to sign off so I can go help my son. And I just want you to remember to count your blessings, be a blessing to somebody else, and be kind to yourself. Until next time.